Hi, my name is Adam Hine, and I'm a specialized neurology consultant and recruiter with RosmanSearch. And today we'll be discussing the typical timeline for a neurology job search. It is important to note that not everyone's timeline is the same. We've seen certain physicians interview with the program, and 2 months later they've reached an agreement. And in some rare cases, we've seen contracts signed 2 years after the initial interview. With that being said, your job search timeline is ultimately up to you and the timing that works best for you and your family. When it comes to the job search timeline, the most common question that we receive is, when do I start my job search? As I mentioned, your job search timeline is ultimately up to you. However, we typically recommend that you start your job search 12 months prior to the completion of training. Therefore, if you are a resident in your PGY for a year and you know that you're planning to complete a 1-year fellowship, it is best to start your job search either after you've already started your fellowship or slightly before. If you require visa assistance, such as a J-1 visa waiver, we recommend that you start your job search 12 to 18 months prior to the completion of your training. This timeline will provide you with more time to research the market, interview with programs, and have your contract signed in order to have your waiver application submitted as early as possible. If you're currently practicing and you're on the market for a new position, we typically suggest that you open your job search within 6 months of your planned departure. This timeline allows you to participate in phone interviews, in-person site visits, contract negotiations, while still providing your employer with the appropriate notice of your departure. Again, please keep in mind that these numbers reflect the standard job search timeline. Therefore, your numbers may differ. The whole goal of your job search is to be able to consider and compare multiple offers. In order to do this, most physicians will need to apply to 10 to 12 different programs. There are certain situations that may change this number. For example, if you're only considering one location, you may need to apply to all the programs in the area to increase the likelihood of securing a position. After you've applied to these positions, you will likely be contacted by the program to learn more about the position. Based on what you've learned, you will then decide if it will make sense to have a phone interview with one of the physicians. With that being said, we recommend that you conduct 6 to 12 phone interviews. Finally, after you have impressed the stakeholders with your personality and technical skills, we suggest that you participate in 5 to 7 site visits. This allows you to meet the people that you will potentially be working with and tour the facilities as well as the communities you will be living in. After you've gone through your first round of in-person site visits, some programs may invite you in for a second visit. It's important to note that not all programs require you to visit a second time, but you may encounter a few programs that do. This might make sense for you and the program. Once you've identified 1 to 2 programs that you can see yourself practicing, it is important that you begin to gather your professional references, compare your offers, identify your first choice program, and negotiate the best offer possible. While negotiating, it is important to be aware of the licensing time frame in that state so that you have sufficient time to obtain your license before you start work. The moment that we've all been waiting for. The moment that you've reached an agreement. Now, you can take a breath, enjoy the fact that you've secured a position, and begin the final steps in becoming credentialed, licensed, and finding your new home. We wish you all the best of luck and look forward to answering any questions that you may have.